We're on. Yay.
So, Dad.
Christian.
Doing the old father-son pod. You ever done a podcast?
I've done one podcast.
What was that?
Gentleman interviewed me from the cigar box guitar community.
Nice.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a big fan of all things Christian Puckett.
I actually watched your video driving back from LA.
Which one?
The Bible pill video where you're just like ranting for 30 minutes.
Oh, you did? I actually made that private. How'd you get it?
It just showed up on my subscription feed.
Really?
Was I not supposed to see that?
I went back and self-censored and I was like, oh, this is dumb. I'm not releasing this. So I left it. Did I send you a link or something or what? I forget.
No, it literally just popped up on my subscription.
Are you kidding
feed.
me? I thought I made that. I thought I made that off limits.
Well, too late. The beans have been spilled.
All right.
No, it was cool. I mean, it's interesting just hearing unfiltered perspectives when you feel like you're, I don't know, having conversations. It's kind of difficult these days, at least for me. So setting up a actual like space for that is helpful for me.
Well, one thing I admire about your style of self-censoring, I guess, because when I listen back to my stuff, it's like, it sounds so horrible. I say dumb things over and over and over. Like my main thing is, okay, so.
Oh, that's your go-to.
It's my, and I hate
filler.
I hate that so much. And it's.
See, but that's something I would never think twice about, but in your head, it's probably a bigger deal than it is to people that are listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is, and I'm trying to say like less. I asked Emily if she was going to listen to the one that we just did, and she's like, no, definitely not. It's like, you're not even going to listen to hear how you sound. She's like, nope, I'm not going to listen. So I was like, okay, cool.
That's actually, it's healthy, I think.
Yeah. I wish over the past month, I wish I could remember where I got it from, but I was either a podcast or watching something, but somebody said to sit down with your parents and record a conversation with them. And so that kind of inspired me. I was like, well, we have plenty of conversations, but I think the point of the video was that your time with your parents is finite. So try to at least capture something. Not that you're anywhere close to, passing
kicking the bucket.
But I don't know, it could just be something nice to have.
No, absolutely. I agree.
It's just like a written down, recorded conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down a few things, some questions. We got from here on out, we've got like a solid 30 minutes. We got my wife, Emily, it's her baby shower in like an hour. And so we're a little bit short on time, but we thought we would squeeze in a quick pod. So yeah, I just wrote down like 5 or 6 just sort of topics we can rant on for a few minutes. So the first one here, I wrote down, what is it like having 4 children that are now, for the most part, adults and moved on? What is it like being sort of an empty nester and having parenting, well, not behind you because you're always a parent, but like active parenting behind you?
That's a good question. So number one, I'm very thankful for every one of my kids. Every one of my kids has been a complete blessing gift from the Lord from the get-go. It's one of those things where you kind of learn as you go. There's no such thing as a perfect parent, perfect scenario, perfect family. I mean, I know people want to believe and romanticize about perfect family, but every family, if they're honest, has their quirks and their characteristics and their struggles and trials and stuff like that. But seriously, I every one of my kids is infinitely perfect in my opinion. That's just obviously my jaded opinion as a parent. But being an empty nester, it's been organic. It's been kind of gradual. It's been by degrees, and every station of my parenting career, if you want to say, it's been, the timing has always been right. It's kind of been, like I said, an organic unfolding, so to speak. In other words, was I ready for kids? Not necessarily, but when the kid came, you seemed to be equipped. You seemed to be ready.
Yeah.
And it's been that way ever since, And then when the kid would leave, it wasn't forced. When they flew the coop, it was organic, and everything seemed to be appropriate timing wise. And so as I look back, it's like, again, it just seemed to happen by itself. Nothing was forced. And as far as like the lessons that I've learned through being a parent, I guess I learned how to be a parent.
Yeah.
Does that?
I mean, yeah, I'm learning as I go right now, but it's just weird thinking about a time when Aesop is just, because he's just such a massive focus of our life right now, but getting to a place where Aesop has moved on, Aesop has, started his own family, and not being in like constant connection with him. It's just interesting because it just gives me a different perspective on my parents, and because it's such like an intimate time with newborns, and it's like a nice gift, but it's not going to be around for forever.
Dude, if there's one thing, it's time flies. OMG. It's just like, boom. It's like, seriously, okay.
That's such a common...
You think it's like a stereotypical cliche or whatever, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Was it... just, I guess, from the perspective of a parent, I mean, I moved out when I was 18, but what was your perspective on me moving out, or any of your children moving out?
That's a dangerous question.
Because it just seems weird. Like, it felt totally normal for me, but now looking at it from the perspective of a parent, like, is that something that's stressful for you as a parent, or do you feel like you're not ready or more than ready? Like, what is that like?
To be honest with you, Christian, I was sad when you moved out, dude. I was sad. I was like, oh man. And again, it was a realization that the door's closed, the pages turn, the chapter is over, and stuff like that. And in fact, right now I can feel myself tearing up. It's like, well, no, it is sad. It's like, and then you realize, kind of retrospect, it's like, oh man, I could have done this better, or but you were ready, you were, of the age where it's just like, hit the road, Jack, and actually, when I look back, you were the same age that I was when I left. And so, no, like I said, if I would rather have you stick around, I probably would, maybe for selfish reasons, but, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. It's gotta be an interesting line to toe, wanting your kids to stay with you, but also wanting them to progress. And
dude, look, do you see me tearing up there? You see it?
Oh yeah,
dude, it's real, dude.
Glistening in the sunlight.
Yeah.
I had sort of a interesting thought the other day of just you. Um, I mean, as far as your dynamic with your parents and your dad specifically, I guess I'm in a place now where I'm like, I'm also learning how to be a son to you in this like new stage of life. And I'm wondering, like what that was like for you when you were my age, uh, dealing or not dealing with your dad.
Okay, well, um, my biological father divorced my mom when I was 4 years old. So I was primarily raised by a single mom. Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to Nana.
Shout out. Good job. She remarried when I was 14 years old. And so from 14 years old until I graduated high school, I did have the benefit of having a stepfather. But to be honest with you, and I do appreciate all that he'd done for me. He was really was a father figure for me. But as far as like a true father figure in my life, it would have to be my father-in-law, your grandpa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Grandpa John.
yeah. So I didn't really have a father in my life necessarily. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
Yeah, I'm learning that I don't know, I'm just learning how to be a father and be a son at the same time. And I'm just wondering, I'm not wondering anything. I was just thinking about the perspective of when you were my age, you didn't really have to check in with your dad or be like on his radar. But I'm not saying whether this is like I'm just thinking, but it was just like I have to be there for you. I don't have to be, but I want to be or should be. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting idea.
yeah,
but
no, it's an interesting thought. How would my life have been different if I did have a dad? Like
as an adult,
especially up in my grill, helping me out, and I would have benefited to some level on some degree, good or bad,
yeah.
But that being said, I think, by God's grace, I think it turned out all right as a dad.
No, you definitely did.
That would be more of a question for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking back, all things considered, yeah, you were a great dad. I remember, yeah, you taking us to, doing typical dad things, right? We would go camping, we would go fishing, we would go four-wheel, off-roading in your truck. All the crazy stuff that mom wouldn't ever take us on or but those are moments that you definitely remember. I even remember mom saying that it's just interesting because I remember all the stuff that we did together, but mom was there every single day doing the monotonous stuff, and you don't really remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, all right, I'm going to move on to this next one. What is it like working for Intel? How long did you work at Intel? 30 years?
Yeah, no, I started in Intel in 1986. Worked for a year and then quit. Took a job at Sandia Labs. Worked there for a year and a half, and then got laid off. And then went back to Intel about 1990-ish as a green badge, and then got hired as a blue badge early 90s. And so, yeah, I've been with Intel steady all until last July when I decided that it was time for me to retire from Intel, not retire from the workforce, because I'm actually more busy now than I've ever been in my life. But I'm busy doing the things that I love and passionate about.
So, wait, how many years was it? Like 30?
Dude, I'm not that good at math, dude.
1985, yeah, I'm sure. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was almost 40 years total.
Damn. That's a huge chunk of your life, and that's a huge commitment to a company, is 40 years of your life working 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And just be done.
Yeah. No, I had a really good run and nothing but good fond memories of Intel and stuff like that. But I am glad that that's behind me now, and that I'm looking forward to the new chapter of life of being a grandpa and being semi-off grid and doing my cigar box guitars and just kind of being a mountain man, so to speak.
So you transferred to Portland, Oregon. What year was that?
2016.
And you stayed out there for like 5 years?
Yep.
What was that whole process like? Did you enjoy that?
Dude, Portland, Oregon. Well, Portland proper, it's not that great of a city, but the outskirts of Portland, drop jaw, gorgeous, beautiful. It's like, oh my gosh, it's green and temperate.
Yeah.
The climate is really nice. But I was kind of a fish out of water. I didn't know anybody up there. I didn't have family and friends necessarily. We did get plugged into a really good church, thankfully, and so that was a good positive experience. But now New Mexico has always been my home, and so when I became a grandpa, thank you very much, we decided it's time to get back to New Mexico, and so I did do an internal transfer with Intel. Took a job here in New Mexico doing a demolition install qual. And I basically just took that as an opportunity to move back to New Mexico and get set up shop back here.
Were there certain aspects about living in, I guess, Oregon that you wish New Mexico had, or are there certain like qualities of life that Oregon has over New Mexico that you kind of miss?
Well, like I said, the climate.
Climate's
Yeah,
well, I guess there's good and bad that comes with that.
Yeah,
It's nice to have rain and healthy soil, but then you also have like overcast weeks.
Yeah.
And dreariness.
Yeah. Gardening in Oregon is gardening by subtraction. You're constantly digging stuff out, and everything grows in Oregon. I mean, it's crazy. The amount of rain. I remember the first year we were there, it rained in one day. It rained more than the entire rainfall of New Mexico in an entire year.
One day?
One day. It was Thanksgiving Day.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, water. It's one thing that I'm learning is super, super valuable and vital. And I wish that New Mexico got more rain, because that would mean healthier soil, and then healthier humans. But yeah, it's a battle to get stuff to grow here. And I wish that, it's just weird having to like transport water in order to give life to your like plants in your garden and stuff like that. Being reliant on city water is probably not ideal long term. Okay, cool. Let's see here. So what made you interested in starting the venture to build cigar box guitars. I see you brought one
Yep.
here. What sparked that journey?
At the age of 14, I became a musician.
Because you were always a guitar player,
Well,
right?
at the age of 14, I decided that I was going to be a guitar player, and so I've been an advancing, serious musician. It's always been a side hustle. I've never like made it my prime goal to be. It's always been just a hobby, a passion. I've always been in bands and blah blah blah. And so as time went on, I started dabbling and building guitars, and I built a few, what they call it, Frankenstein parts casters, just from in fact, my main guitar from 2000 on was a guitar that I built. And for me, there was just like a fulfillment in actually building the instrument that you play. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of sounds kind of weird, but we had a music room there at Intel, and I was in there in the music room one day, and one of my buddies came in, and he had bought a cigar box guitar online, and so he kind of thrust it into my hand. He goes, "Here, check this thing out." And so I pick it up, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And I hand it back to him. He goes, No, take it home, plug it into your amps and stuff. And so I did. I took it home, and it was cute. It was like a little toy little thing, So I plugged it in, and it's like raging sound. I was just like, "Whoa, what the heck, man?" Little 3-string, little, disposable little cigar box. And so I'm in there jamming, and I'm just having a blast. I mean, these things, they basically play themselves. And then I could hear from the other room, my wife, she didn't know what I was doing, but she was in the other room. She goes, "Hey, that sounds pretty good. What is it?" And I was like, "Come check this out." And it was like, wow, cigar box guitar. And, so I went back to work the next day, and Aaron Freya, he's the guy that handed me it was his guitar. And so I gave it back to him. I handed it back. And so he was all like, "Well, what'd you think? What'd you think?" And I was like, "Dude, this thing is awesome, man." I was kind of playing around with him. I go, 2 things. I go, number 1, you could be the hero and give this thing to me. Or number 2, you can make me be the bad guy and make me steal it from you. But either way, you ain't getting it back. And so he laughed. He says, "Dude, I bought it for you." I was like, "No way."
Oh,
dude. Nice.
He's
all like, "Yeah, so take it." So anyhow, as I was playing this thing, because he basically gave it to me, and I just played that thing nonstop for like days, months, weeks, whatever. And while I'm playing this, everybody asked me, "Did you build that?" And I'm like, no. And I got to thinking, but I probably could, you know what I'm saying? And so like, then the light bulb went off, and I'm like thinking, man, if I did build one, I could trick it out, put in all sorts of pickups, and get it all jiggy and just make it like friggin' amazing.
Do you still have that one?
Yeah, I do. So what happened was, as I'm playing this cigar box guitar that Aaron bought for me, I'm destroying it because I play hard and heavy, and I attack. And so I'm destroying this thing. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to build one. And so as I built one, my next door neighbor, old Scotty, remember Scott McCrae, he comes over, he's like, "What's going on here?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm building a cigar box guitar." He's like, "Oh man, can you build me one?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah. I remember that season.
Yeah. And so I built one and built another one. And then as I'm building it, another friend, Albert Baca, he sees me building. "Hey, can you build me one I'm going to give them away as Christmas presents and stuff." And I'm like, so I was like, at first I wasn't thinking about, building for other people, but what had happened is it just kind of caught on. And so as I'm building them, I'm learning basically how to build them, because you kind of roll forward your learnings, and you don't repeat your mistakes. And then I did a video. I did a YouTube video because I forget what it is. I forget the reason why, but I wanted to document something about the build. And then, boom, the video took off. And I was like, interesting. And so I started doing more videos on how to build them and kind of what they look like and et cetera. And that was the birth of my YouTube channel, Puckett Cigar Box Guitars. And you know what's kind of interesting, Christian, is that, dude, my YouTube, the Puckett cigar box guitar, boom, took off. I had a video that went viral on Reddit, and so it was in short order, within just a couple of years, that I became the number one searched cigar box guy on YouTube.
You're the go-to guy.
Dude, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think I've fallen off the radar on the algorithm because when I moved from Oregon back to New Mexico, everything was kind of on hiatus.
Yeah.
I was about a year and a half, whereas I didn't keep putting logs on the YouTube fire. But I got my workshop up and running, and I'm back at it again. I've built over 400 cigar box guitars.
Dang.
And since 2016, I think maybe 2015 is when I started.
Are you still numbering them?
Yep. I'm on number 406
Dang.
right now.
Yeah, you've become the go-to cigar box guitar person on YouTube. You've always been like.
There's a handful of us, and it's a tight community, man. There's no competition. Everybody loves each other. It's nothing but support and encouragement, and it's a great community. I really enjoy being part of it.
Okay, so it's 2022. You're retired from Intel. Josh is still living up in Portland, and you don't have to be, on active parent duty. And so what is next for Del Puckett going forward?
Well, as fate would have it, there is a tiny little church across the street, and I'm involved over there. I do the music, and we do Wednesday night Bible studies and stuff like that. And so I do feel called to be a blessing to the community, whatever that looks like. I'm kind of surrounded by, I don't want to say widows, but single ladies and stuff like that. And the opportunity for, taking their trash to the dump and helping them clean their weeds out of their backyard and stuff like that. There's no end to the service that I guess I can do. I know that sounds weird and stuff like that, but like yesterday we did Christmas boxes for the Jemez Pueblo, and there's no men. It's sad, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so here I show up with a trailer and a strong back, and dude, instantly I'm the hero. Carry all these gifts to the kids and stuff like that. So, just things like that. I'm looking forward to just serving the community, being a Christian, however that looks like. I'm not really sure. I know they have invited me to preach. I think I've preached a total of 3-4 times now, and so that's always kind of fun and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that. It gives me the opportunity to do it. It's not forced. Again, it's another one of these organic things that just seems to be happening. Mm-hmm. So I'm thankful for that.
Nice. And then, so the YouTube channel is back up and running. The cigar box shop is back up and running. There's possibilities of agriculture maybe, or what's your plans as far as like your property out there? Dude,
I got so many ideas and plans and visions and what if scenarios and stuff. It's like, I'm thankful for that, but the sky is the limit. We do very fortunate to have 5 acres. We have the river running through our backyard, so that's awesome. Water is not an issue. I'm like 5 foot from the water table, so I can just drive down those little.
Yeah, that's nice.
Those little what do you call it? The Sandpoint hand pump wells and stuff like that. So we got. But that being said, don't kid yourself, dude. It is work. I need to get my soil enriched organically. And but as far as livestock goes, I'd love to have chickens. I'd love to have maybe some cattle, some sheep.
Dang, you need to start raising cows, and then we could just like split them.
Absolutely.
When the time comes.
Absolutely. I'm down with that.
Do you have anything for me?
Yes.
Do you have
Absolutely.
What you got for me?
Well, so first off, dude, I told you I've always been a fan of your podcast and your videos all the way back to the antisocial days and stuff like that.
The cringiest
dude,
days.
Yeah, I know. But seriously, dude, I mean, you have a natural gift for camera, film, production, all that good stuff. And so, like I said, I've learned a lot from just observing you, whether it's, behaving in front of a camera or, even off camera, just, your discipline in some of your health decisions and stuff like that. And your ability to engage in conversations in a way that's actual conversation rather than just being a victim of a one-way conversation and stuff like that. And so I feel that I've learned a lot of valuable things from you, and I just wanted to go on record and say thanks for that. You might not be aware of it, but it's a two-way street, dude. I obviously parents can teach their kids, but parents can also learn from their kids, and so that's a benefit. One of the benefits of having kids is that you learn. You never stop learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like even in small ways, I'm learning from Aesop, and it'll just be so bizarre he's not even talking yet, but once he starts talking, once he starts growing up, it's like each life just like has their own unique perspective, and there's always something to learn. I don't I mean, I feel like I'm just doing whatever comes naturally. I guess cameras and video and audio and all that stuff I probably just learned a lot of that from you, because you were always doing YouTube videos growing up, and that was kind of a big part. And maybe I just subtly saw that and was like, oh, I can do that too.
Yeah, but you've taken it to the next level, dude.
I don't know. I guess it's simple for me, but I don't know. I like to do things well.
Yeah.
And
you do things well.
Hopefully this setup, like I'm just starting. Like I know there's going to be wrinkles to iron out, but I just wanted to start this because I'm thinking long term about like, okay, what do I want to be doing in 5 years, 10 years? This is something that could, of course, evolve over time, but it's something that's fully mine, something that I have creative control over. And yeah, again, it just gives me an opportunity to talk to my dad, talk to Emily, talk to friends, hopefully in the future, people that I, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like look up to, or like I look up to you, of course, but like people that are not as attainable. Cool. Well, we've got a baby shower to get to. Do you have anything else you wanted to throw out there?
Oh, I do have an early Christmas present here for you.
A $100 bill.
No. So like I said, we were doing all these things for the kids the other day, and this was in the pile of stuff.
Oh, nice.
And I says, hey, my son's name is Christian. And she goes, oh, you should just take that then. And I was like, oh, are you sure? She's like, yeah.
What is it?
It's just
like
a little yeah, it's just a little hanging thing.
A little keychain.
Yeah.
Doodad.
And that goes.
Yeah, I was actually going to point that out.
That kind of goes with this. I remember giving this to you when you were a wee guy.
A wee lad. Yeah.
You still have it.
From the time I could remember, I've always had that little puzzle. And There's only been one casualty. I'm sure it's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Missing one letter. Cool. Well, love you, Dad.
Love you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I know it was kind
of dangerous, you know.
Like in what way?
To have your dad on here?
No one's listening.
Are you sure about that, dude?
In my head, that's what I tell myself. I'm just like, no one's listening except like Nana and Auntie Fran.
Hey, so when does a joke become a dad joke?
I don't even know, because I feel like I have not even reached that level of humor of like, oh, look at his dad humor. I don't know. I guess you just have to be a dad and then tell a joke, and then you've reached dad joke status.
You'll know when a joke becomes a dad joke when it becomes apparent.
Okay. Gotcha. I wish I had the preset button for ta-doonch, but I think it's still those awful. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, they're turned off.
You got them deleted.
Yeah, good thing.
Deleted.
All right. Well, this has been, I think, the 5th episode of the Peacekeeper podcast. Thanks again to Del Puckett for joining. I'll have his links down below, YouTube channels, Instagrams, all that. And yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Christian. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right. Goodbye, everyone.